Dr. Arjit for his talk of the day, which is physical health and immunity. Before I call him, I would like to give a brief introduction of Dr. Arjit. Dr. Arjit is MD/DM FRCP. He works as a consultant at the Department of Endocrinology at Al Sabah Hospital, which is one of the largest endocrine center of Kuwait. He's trained in endocrinology from India and UK. He is the member of Endocrine Society in India, US, and UK. He regularly participates in endocrine conferences in Kuwait and abroad. I now request Dr. Arjit to address us for next 30 minutes. Over to you, Dr. Arjit.
Thank you, Mr. Fahimuddin. A very good evening, dear viewers. I'm Dr. Arjit. First of all, I would like to thank Indian Muslim Association for inviting me for this talk. As I was listening, as you all understand, the world is going through a very difficult crisis and pandemic of coronavirus. I actually did duty as a consultant in coronavirus disease ward in our hospital for 3 months. What I just wanted to mention here is that for this virus, the most important part of treatment is the immunity. It's actually the healthy immunity which ultimately eliminates the virus from the body. Most of the treatment what we are giving for this is actually supportive treatment to ensure that the virus is gradually eliminated from the body with the help of healthy immune system. Now, to begin with, as we all understand that immune system is simply called as the defense system of our body, and it's extremely important and very vital for our essence of survival. Now, when we talk about somebody who is physically healthy, now somebody in order to be physically healthy, he has to have a healthy, well-functioning system. And immune system is one of the very crucial system which helps us in every aspect of our life. Yeah, to begin with, the various role which our human immune system function, we know that it fight against the germs and protects us every moment. As a living organism, we live in the midst of various virus, bacteria, fungus, and other organisms. And the immune system is actually closely monitoring the attack from outside and protects us by developing the resistance and fight it out. It also plays a very important role, something we call it as a self versus foreign. That means that our immune system is accustomed to identify which part of the body belongs to its own and what is foreign. And a common example is that when we do blood transfusion or organ transplantation, unless it is matched each other, the immune system will attack and will not accept the organ or the body products from another individual unless and until it is matched. So this is another very important role which the immune system plays. One interesting thing is that even if a baby who is developing in the womb of mother and the baby structurally and constitutionally has got a different antigen and different structure, but still mother carries the baby. And here there is an interesting thing is that something we call it as immune tolerance, that God has made such a modification that during pregnancy, the mother can carry the fetus without any risk of rejection during the pregnancy by downgrading or downplaying this immune identity towards the fetus. And another very important role immune system plays is actually to observe for any sort of abnormal development of the cells, particularly if any cell is becoming cancerous or any kind of unusual changes. The immune system will identify, track it down, and will try to eliminate. In addition to this, immune system is also involved in various pathological diseases. For example, the heart disease, like when there is an atherosclerosis or any sort of chronic medical illness, the immune system is activated, thereby meaning that if there is any deficiency or derangement of the immune system, it can lead to chronic disease and chronic ailments. In my field, from endocrinology, where we deal with chemical messenger or hormones, a large number of diseases are caused by abnormal immune system, which we call it as autoimmunity. In fact, what happens is that in this type of diseases, the immune system is not able to identify or discriminate between self versus foreign. And to give you an example, like thyroid disease and many other endocrinopathies, where immune system are misdirected and unfortunately start attacking the own body system. And this sort of diseases, we call it as autoimmune diseases. Now, the most crucial point and question of today's discussion is that how to boost our immunity. Now, the whole system of immune function is a pretty complex one, and it is really not much known about the finer details about the intricacies and interconnectedness of the immune system. So it is still probably a very oversimplification, but still we should understand that a healthy lifestyle and a healthy pattern definitely can regulate our immune system, keep it healthy and functioning, and definitely can help. Now, immune function requires a sort of balance and harmony. I mean, don't try to do something less or more. Don't overdo something or don't make anything deficient. Now, if we simplify the way immune system is organized in our body, just to make it simple, I said that the whole driver of this machinery is actually the T cell in the immune cells. And let us say that they are actually teacher. And this T cell or the teacher cells, they guide the boys, B cells, and other cells which are acting under the discipline or under the instruction of this T cell or teacher cells. Now, a large number of organs and the body system is also involved in various ways and contributes in the formation of the immune system. For example, the bone marrow, where the blood is formed, the immune system is also originated. Actually, a large part of the immune cells are actually white blood cells or the defense cells which are circulating in the blood. But in addition, they are accumulated in certain areas in our body, which we call it as lymph nodes. They can be considered as local collection of defense cells, which can observe and control or contain the infection if there is any invasion from that part of the body. Immune system gives an immediate response. It can also generate a delayed response and long-term memory. Like when we vaccinate a child, we are vaccinating against certain organisms so that certain cells or the teacher cells of our body, they develop something called as memory cell, and these cells will be identifying in future if there is any sort of germ of similar nature is coming in the body. The paradoxical situation what we are facing in coronavirus disease is actually this is not a common virus which has affected the human race earlier. That's why the immune system is unfortunately not able to identify and generate the immune anti resistance or antibodies quickly. Now, structurally, as we understand that the lymph nodes are situated in various parts of the body, we know the tonsil and various other areas like axilla and the groin, the lymph nodes are situated. The formation of the immune cells are from the bone marrow, which is actually the source of most of the blood components. And after they are formed, they go for maturation in various other structure. And thymus is actually one of the very important structure in the immune function, because thymus helps the maturation of the immune system and generation of the T cell. Actually, this teacher cell name came from the thymus. In addition to these areas, like in blood and other areas like lymph nodes, the immune cells are also present in various vital organs, which gives some sort of local protections. Now, when we talk about the immune pattern, there are two distinct patterns we can identify. There are certain immune cells which are instantly reacting towards any germs, and this is called as innate response or spontaneous response. Whereas the development of future recognition or memory cells and adaptive response takes longer time, and this needs some sort of training and fine tuning of our immune system. Now, in order to maintain a healthy immunity, we should stress for healthy lifestyle, adequate sleep, healthy diet, and obviously the stress reduction, because stress is a major issue in modern world. Now, the first of all, how we can positively promote our immune system is through healthy lifestyle. We should all aim for a healthy body weight. Obesity and undernutrition both is harmful to our immune system. Maintain a good personal hygiene so that the germs are not allowed to enter our body. For example, skin care or any other, like if we have any infection or any sort of germs, we should take a proper precaution. And this is very important for some situation like people suffering from diabetes or any other medical illness. It's very important. Smoking not only creates problem for the lung or cancer, but smoking does reduce the immune function of our body. And finally, a healthy diet consisting of fresh fruits, vegetables, diet which are rich in antioxidants are important. As I mentioned, both malnutrition, that means severe deficiency of nutrients, and overnutrition, which is more common situation in modern world, that is obesity, both are bad. Obesity with high fat deposition try to counter the normal function of immune system and my system, which is endocrine system. And you should understand that the endocrine system, particularly the stress hormones, does have a modulatory effect in the immune activity. Please avoid processed foods from when you are buying food from market, food containing trans fat, high salt, food preservatives. They are harmful to the normal activity of immune system. And in modern era, a lot of food actually contains something called as the disruptive chemicals. We call it as environmental disruptions, like certain chickens, they may contain high concentration of estrogen, and many other food items, they may have chemicals, harmful chemicals, which actually worsen or reduce the immune resistance, and thereby increase the risk of malignancy and other chronic diseases. Also, please avoid food with high glycemic index, because those food which has high glycemic index, like simple rice or white bread, they can change the endocrine environment of our body, and this can also alter the immune function, which we medically call it as low grade chronic inflammation. Now, the healthy choices, which is very important in the current scenario of COVID pandemic, that please use a small quantity of garlic, ginger, honey, turmeric, almonds, citrus fruits, spinach, broccoli, and other greens and carotenoids. This food, they don't contain too much of calorie or protein, carbohydrate, and fat, but they are very rich in minerals and micronutrients, which helps in repairing the deficiency and also promote the efficient function of our immune system. Regarding the vitamin D is my favorite. As you all know, that vitamin D is mainly a vitamin for bone and muscle protection. In fact, people, those who have weak bones or osteoporosis, we are using vitamin D quite frequently. But this sunshine vitamin also helps in the improvement of lymphocyte function. You will be interested to know that our T lymphocyte or teacher lymphocyte, they contain vitamin D receptors. And my observation while working in the COVID ward, I have seen more than 1,500 COVID patients. Let me tell you that 90% of the patients I found, they were deficient in vitamin D. So I would request to all of you, ensure that your vitamin D level is maintained as normal as possible. The common source of vitamin D, as you all know, the sunlight. In addition, the dairy products, particularly like yogurt, milk, and all, they are vitamin D fortified, and some of the marine fish also contains vitamin D. So please ensure that your vitamin D level is maintained. Vitamin C and vitamin A, by their property as antioxidant, does play a very important role, and a lot of micronutrients, zinc, selenium, they also helps in repair. Zinc is important because it is an intracellular mineral, and it try to protect and repair the cell so that it can survive during the phase of any sort of adverse situation. Please don't forget that as a human, we spend about 33% of our life during sleep. And let me tell you that immune repair activity is highest during sleep. T cell and T helper cell function is actually improved while adequate sleep. So sleep, definitely an adequate sleep, which consists of a good amount of sleep of minimum of 8 hours, is very important for everyday life. Stress, as I said, that it's a big issue in modern world, materialistic world, competitiveness, lack of interpersonal emotional touch, they all unfortunately worsen our emotional situation. And we are going to hear from Mr. Sharafuddin regarding this particular aspect. So I'm not going to highlight more about this part. I hope that we will hear more from him. Remember that daily regular exercise is very, very important. Exercise directly boosts our immune cells. It improves cardiac performance, improves lung capacity, it maintains our muscle mass, it helps our brain function, generate endorphin, thereby reduce the risk of psychological illness like depression, fatigue, and it does have a positive reinforcement. So exercise, when we talk about, like when I speak about my diabetic patient, I always tell them that 30 to 45 minutes of brisk walking at least 5 days a week, which is about 150 minutes per week, is very important to maintain a good, healthy metabolic environment and healthy immune function. Aging, as you all know, that as we grow older, our immune function gradually comes down. That is one of the reason worldwide risk of death from COVID-19 of people above 65 is striking. Similarly, other respiratory infection like influenza and other flu, more risk of pneumonia and infection is again if the people are more than 65 and above. The main explanation which is given is that as we grow older, the thymus gradually become atrophic and it produce less amount of teacher cell or T cell. Bone marrow also become, due to the age effect, become senescent or old. And above all, many of the elderly patient, they have gut malabsorption. They cannot absorb the nutrients properly. That's why they may suffer from deficiency of various micronutrients and vitamins. So thereby meaning that they do require a small amount of multivitamins consisting of various micronutrients is important. Now, a lot of medical illness, and I have noticed that this category of the patient, they carries higher risk of mortality and complication following COVID-19 because during this chronic medical illness, the immune system get exhausted. For example, patients suffering from diabetes, heart disease, chronic disease of the lung, kidney, cirrhosis, cancer, and some people who are suffering from chronic joint disease and inflammation. In all these chronic medical illness, because of the exhaustive fight between our immune system and the various harmful invaders, the immune system get exhausted and unfortunately thereby reducing or depleting the immune function for these particular individuals. Now, I just made three questions in order to alert our audience that you can ask me questions of different nature like that many people ask me when we were treating patients of COVID-19, that does micronutrient supplement support immunity? Now, as I mentioned that a lot of multivitamins and micronutrients, particularly rich in vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin A, B vitamins, they possibly have some help or some role in tissue repair and promoting the health of our immune function. But this supplement may not work immediately, thereby meaning that somebody should have a regular supplement over a period of time to find a desired result. Another question many people ask me is that what is the role of probiotics in the improvement of gut immunity and thereby boosting our immunity? Now, as you all know that our gut contains a large number of bacteria and they are much higher than the actual number of cells we have in our body. And in some situation, the ratio between the healthy bacteria and the harmful bacteria may be altered. And this medically we call it as leaky gut. And probiotics, which contains some sort of healthy bacteria, and one of the example is lactobacillus rhamnus. This sort of bacteria try to restore the amount of healthy bacteria which is present in our gut and it can give a positive signal to our immune system and try to help the immune system to work better in the better direction. Now, many person ask me why during the winter month or changing season is called as cold and flu season. You know, the back virus, mostly the influenza virus and COVID-19 virus, they are actually present in the droplets. You know, somebody coughing or sneezing, this droplet contains this virus, and they, because of the dry weather in winter, they tend to remain in the air for a longer period of time. And in winter months, because most of the people tend to live indoors, the chance of person to person contact is again more likely. So I would like to conclude that please stay healthy, stay positive, take this phase of lockdown in a positive way, utilize your hobbies like reading books, cooking, uh, doing music, and also take this as an opportunity of strong family bondage. Instead of spending time in the virtual world, you can interact more closely with your near and dear one. And please, I always enforce to my patient that the biggest investment in your life should be your health. And if you are healthy and positive, then only you can take care of others. Thank you very much to all of you. And I conclude my talk now, and I will receive the questions after the second lecture is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Arjit. Just to summarize, I'm actually not qualified to summarize a talk from a doctor, but still a few points for everybody to remember. Uh, Doctor emphasized on four important aspects. One is the healthy lifestyle, adequate sleep, reduced stress, regular exercises. He also he also reminded us about the balance. Don't overdo things and don't make it difficult. Also regular exercise, and reminded us on healthy aging. So we go to the next topic of the day. The next topic of the day will be the emotional health and positivity. I would request Mr. Sharfuddin to address us on this topic. Before I call upon him, here is a small introduction. Sharfuddin BS is a well-known personality. He is the faculty for management studies. He's a motivational speaker, delivers various motivational topics. He has command on multiple languages. He is regularly hosted at KTV, Kuwait Radio. He has delivered lectures in India, Kuwait, and abroad. I request Mr. Sharfuddin to address us on the topic emotional health and positivity for the next 30 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arjit. Very good evening to you, Dr. Arjit, Fahimuddin, and all my audience of this evening. First of all, let me connect to screen. I'd like to ask if my screen is showing, my voice is audible and my screen is showing?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see this? Hello? Is my screen shown? Hello, Mr. Jafar, can you see my screen? Emotional health and positivity.
No, you have to share. I think you have to share again.
Okay, wait a minute. Share. Share.
Yeah, now we can see.
Now you can see emotional health and positivity.
Yes.
Good evening, all of you. Let me go ahead with my topic, emotional health and positivity. And we were listening to a very eminent personality, Dr. Arijit, and thank you for his time. And it was a very learned topic he was discussing. Now I'm going to talk to you about one more very important topic, which is emotional health and positivity. This subject is very important because normally we have doctors like Dr. Arijit who can speak about the health aspect, and we can go and meet many doctors who are available in our society. Whereas for emotional health, normally there is no consultation, and you have to know yourself, and you have to learn how to improve our emotional health. And this is very important aspect which normally people forget, or people are not giving much importance to it. And there are three types of health. One is physical health, one is social health, and the third one is mental and emotional health. So all three are very important aspect of health, and that's why mental and emotional health is very important that we have to care about. And what is emotional health? I'm highlighting some of the aspect of emotional health which make sure that you are emotionally healthy. Okay, and this emotional health is a very key factor for all aspect of your life. To bring quality in your life, emotional health is very important, and it is very vital role it is playing in your life. Number one is person's ability to accept and manage his feelings. Every moment we have feelings. Sometimes we are angry, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are upset, sometimes we are disturbed. Various kinds of feelings. Human beings are full of feelings. So person's ability to manage all these feelings in a day, how you are managing, this is the one of the best criteria of emotional health. Also, person's ability to respond instead of react. What is respond and react? I was reading a motivational book. In that, an example is given about response and reaction. Two gentlemen were standing in airport in a counter where they issue boarding pass. While issuing boarding pass, the gentleman who is in the counter said, "Unfortunately, we received a message just now that flight delayed for 1 day. Your flight supposed to fly up in a couple of minutes or couple of hours is going to fly only tomorrow." The gentleman who was supposed to, because of technical reasons, and the gentleman who was supposed to receive boarding pass immediately said, "Fantastic." And the man behind it, he said, "What fantastic?" It's very annoying that at the last minute they are telling that flight is 1 day delay, and I'm losing that, I'm losing my money, I'm losing my time, and all these things, making there was a big chaos. And finally, there was no option, and it is cancelled due to technical reason, and they all have to come next day. And next day, the gentleman who was very upset met the gentleman who said, "Fantastic." He said, "How come you said fantastic when flight is cancelled and delayed for 1 day?" He said, "Look, flight is delayed for technical reason." They said, "And if the technical reason would have happened above the sky, that would have been more, annoying, and we'd have lost our lives." So they found out the technical reasons at the last minute before flying. This is really fantastic. It saved our lives. So he saw it in a different way and he responded, whereas many other people reacted. So this happens many a time in our life that we react. React means it's an immediate reaction without thinking, without perception. Response means very thoughtful reaction. That is called response. So learn to respond instead of react. This is very important aspect of emotional health. And managing difficulties. And there is a saying in Quran, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We have created human beings with a lot of difficulties. Means the difficulties are surrounded every individual. You cannot pursue a human being who is not facing any difficulty, whether he's a rich man, whether he's a poor man, whether he's a man with a lot of authority, or whatever kind of human being, he has some his own things which bothers him, and difficulties and challenges everybody is facing. So how you manage, this is also part of emotional health. And managing interactions of people. Interaction with people also is a very important aspect of emotional health. We all are surrounded with people. We meet many, people of different culture, especially a country like India, for example, is very pluralistic society. Interaction, living in a harmonious manner in a plural society is also very important for the development of everybody. And especially this is, you can see that, due to various reasons, sometimes due to politics, people try to disturb harmony. So this disturbing harmony also disturbs emotional health of the society as well. That's why it is very important for us, for health of people, for health of society, for health of our children and families. We have to try to build harmonious relationship, and building good interactions with various kinds of people in our society, in our offices, in our workplace is also important. Another important interaction is family. You can see there are a lot of family problems. When you have teenage children, again, it's a problem. Husband and wife, there are problems. And, dealing with parents, sometimes old parents, it's a problem. Young parents also sometimes, it's a problem. Between the siblings, there are, some problems. That's why managing family is also not an easy thing. And you have to learn how to manage them in a nice way, in a harmonious atmosphere. So this is again part of emotional health. And this emotional health is not a requirement of only elderly people. It is need of every individual, be it a small boy or a child or elderly person or a very old people. Everybody requires emotional health. That's why we have to take care of our emotional health. And what are some of the contributing factors to the health? One is our social interactions. Man is a social animal. So when we have a very good social interactions, when we meet nice people, when we have good social interactions, a positive kind of a social relationship, it will boost our emotional health. And again, managing stress. Difficulties, stress is part of our life. But how you manage it, how you reduce it, or how you manage it in a nice way, how you take it positively. And, job, for example, if you try to love your job, what you do, then it will not be a stress for you. Some people like writing. I can see writers are sitting in their table whole day, sometimes 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day, 16 hours a day, because it's their passion. They love that job. So that's why it is a different way of managing stress. And again, time management. Some people are stressed with time, and time again should be managed. Sometimes, when you don't know how to say no, for example, you are going somewhere and person stops you and say, can you please drop me somewhere? And actually you wanted to say no, but because of some reservations, you say no. You cannot say no. You accept that responsibility. So that's an additional time factor for you, additional job for you, additional stress for you. So sometimes we have to learn how to say no. There are three kinds of behavior. One is aggressive, one is passive, one is assertive. Assertive is a moderate behavior. It's not aggressive, it's not passive. You keep your self-respect, you know your responsibility, you know your obligation towards others, and you behave in a very nice manner, very well thought of manner. If you do that, you can manage your time. So learn to manage your time. It reduces your stress and it will create a kind of positive energy within you. And Dr. Arijit also was, highlighting about physical exercise, which is also very important for emotional health as well. For example, walking, there is a nerve ending in our palms and in our feet. For example, walking is one of the best exercises. You can say it's an easy exercise. In gym, you have to maintain some time and you have to do particular kind of exercise, and it costs you also, and you have to go to a particular place. But walking, you can do it anywhere. People of all age can do it, and it's free of cost. And by walking, you are boosting or stimulating your nerve endings, and it is very healthy. So also, for emotional health, any kind of physical activity, particularly the easiest one I would suggest is walking, will create a lot of positive energy. And also acceptance that there will be things that we cannot control. There are so many things we cannot control. And coronavirus taught us that so many things we cannot control. How our body reacts to so many things we cannot control. And so many other aspects which is not under our control. We cannot control it. We just have to take it and to manage it. This reality, if we understand, and Corona really made people understand that so many things are not under our control, but we have to manage it. And instead of reacting to it, we have to respond to it. And if we know that, if we learn how to do it, then it will contribute to the emotional health. And also express your emotions. Don't conceal it. If you're happy, express it. If you're sad, also express it. And any kinds of emotions, express it in a proper manner. Learn where to express it, how to express it, without harming others or without harming yourself. Concealing, any kind of emotions, this will harm your personality. God has given you tongue. God has given you means of communication which is not given to animals. So that's why, and this kind of emotional sensitivity and is not there among animals. A human being is very sensitive because he has given mind, knowledge, emotions, and so he's a very complex personality. That's why expressing is also very important, but you should learn how to express it in a way that is not harmful to others, that is beneficial to you, and that's how you can manage your emotional health. And also, so many things you want to do. That's your passion. That's your interest. That's your core competency. Identify your core competency. Identify your passion. And sometimes people have passion in singing, passion in writing, passion for painting, passion for some other thing. And they have various kinds of interest. You need not have to suppress it. You see, whatever you are, you find a way to pursue your passions as well. I can see that so many doctors are good singers, and some doctors are good painters. So profession is one thing, your passion is other thing. You need not have to suppress your passion for the sake of profession. You can also follow up with your passion and you can fulfill it, and that will definitely positively contribute to your emotional health. And one of the important factor is forgiving. When you have a lot of grudge, lot of hatred, and a lot of feelings to retaliate something, it will create a lot of stress within you. So forgiveness is important. In Quran, there is a saying about the virtuous people, good people. They are kazimin al-ghayz wa afina anin nas. The traits of the good people or the believers is that they shun their anger and they forgive people. So this is, these teachings you will find in all the scriptures, religious scriptures. So forgiving is a good quality, that let it go, forgive, and drop it from your mind. Okay, and also be kind towards others. Kindness is an action which not only is beneficial to others, but emotionally, for your emotional health, if you are kind, it will help yourself as well. So try to be kind. So smile at others, be kind, be good towards others, and be generous, and be a man of forgiving nature. All these things actually supports you and makes you more stronger, develops your immunity, develops your health. So that's why it's all necessary that you have to develop this. And last but not least is spirituality. When I was checking, Googling, you can also Google about emotional health. Everywhere you will find the importance of spirituality, that you have to go back to God, you have to believe in God. because human beings are created in such a way that they are given with three important components. One is body, one is mind, another one is soul. So God has given everything for your sustenance. God has created vegetations and for your food. God has created everything. And also for your mind, God has created all this atmosphere, happiness, and everything. And for your soul, also, God has sent prophets and messages and how to believe in Him, how to worship Him, how to have contacts with Him, and what are the religious things you have to do. Every good thing you do is, it is considered as virtues. Every bad thing in this world considered as sins. This concept of sin and virtue and connectivity with God is all called spirituality. This is very important for emotional health. And if you think that there is no one controlling me, there is no one, I can revert back to, I can ask, some powerful uh, God, then only then your belief or your personality definitely changes. You will find that I have a strong support of God, so I can live a healthy life. And in this pandemic, especially, there is a emotional stress. There are so many emotional stress which has this pandemic, this coronavirus has created in this world, and it has taught one big lesson. What are some of the kind of emotional stress which pandemic has created? Number one is security. What is security means? I may become sick, I may die, or I will face financial losses, I may lose my job. All these things are happening with the coronavirus all over the globe. And this is a kind of security stress this coronavirus has created. And second one is social interactions. This is again a need of human beings, that you are disconnected from your regular interactions. Sometimes I know that some husband and wife are doctors. There is they cannot interact with each other because they both work in hospitals and sometimes in COVID hospitals, and they cannot live together or live two separate rooms. And I know in Mangalore, there is a demand for apartments in the doctors area, because if two doctors were living together, those who are doing masters, they cannot live together now. They want separation. They can quarantine themselves because they are working in two separate hospitals. So, lot of problems in social interactions you can see because of coronavirus, and this has created a lot of problems. So, this is on a second stress. When you have less social interaction, it creates stress. This is the great stress created by coronavirus. Third one is autonomy. Autonomy means ability to do anything. I can go anywhere, I can travel anywhere, and I can just start my car and go somewhere. No, you cannot do like that now. Will regulations allow me? Will police allow me? Will authorities allow me? Or will coronavirus allow me? Can I go there or not? So many things, before doing anything as per your autonomy, as per your capacity. Now, everything you have to think twice, whether it is allowed, whether it is possible, whether it is not restricted by regulations. So this is another third kind of major stress created by this coronavirus. Another one is confinement. You are feeling restricted. Lot of restrictions are there. You are restricted to your house. You are restricted to your town. Sometimes you are in a small town. You are there from 5, 6 months in the same town, same area, same house. You have not traveled much. And this kind of confinement. And you can do limited things. Confinement in every area. These are some of the great stress created by coronavirus. So you have to see how you can manage all these stresses. Of course, you have to manage it. And people gradually started learning how to manage all these things. I can see that the initial days in February and March, the amount of stress people used to face are not anymore. People know how to live with coronavirus. That's why all these new kinds of stress we are facing, we should accept it and we should learn how to live with it. And one great lesson we learned from this coronavirus is that God is great. And God is great is a great lesson. And we are reminded with the lesson, Muslims especially, when they give adhan in the masjid, the first word they say is Allahu Akbar, which means God is great. And this word we keep on repeating. And this is a reminder, great reminder, coronavirus has given to the entire world that nobody is great. America may be a great country with superpower, but Corona defeated it. And many great personalities, many people died of coronavirus, and everything affected, rich and poor. There is no kind of discrimination by coronavirus. It affected everybody. The only greatness, if you can attribute to anybody, which is God. This great reminder is given to us, and this is probably a time that we should remind ourselves that God is great. We have to believe in Him. We have to turn back to Him. This is the lesson given by coronavirus. And you can see in our body, there is natural system of cleaning. Natural cleansing system is there. Cleaning system is there in the body and mind. See, everything we eat and everything we drink, it must be, cleaned. Water is, for example, very light. For example, if you eat a heavy food, you feel heavy. But water is very light. And you can understand the value of water. It is a very valuable thing for you. But again, you have to clean it. After that, after drinking water, after some time, it will go through sweat and urination. And also, when we inhale air, again, we have to exhale. We take oxygen and we have to exhale carbon dioxide. So anything we intake, exhale is also important. The body is created like that. Cleansing system is there. Similarly, when you get all kinds of feeling in your mind, it must be released. There should be releasing system. You have to release it. You cannot conceal it. You cannot keep it in your mind. You cannot stress yourself. So cleansing system should be there, that your feeling should be cleaned. Your feeling should be released. So this is what is all about emotional health. So this is necessary. Express your feelings. For example, there is a natural system. If you eat, it will go. And there is a system already. But sometimes for feeling, you have to develop this system. How to express your feelings, how to release your stress. All these things you have to learn doing it. That's why emotional health is very important, because so many things you have to learn how to do it and how to develop this emotional health. Express your feelings and release your ill feeling, shocks and sadness. Release it. And also, God has created some of it naturally, because forgetfulness, for example, you forget things. First day, for example, somebody passed away, you will be very sad and shocked on the first day. Second day, that sadness will be more lighter. And people say time is a big healer. So the time and the forgetfulness which God has created within you is a natural cleansing system. But that's not enough. Sometimes you have to adopt your own cleansing way to clean your feelings and to make your feelings light and to express your feelings. And that's how to develop emotional health. And also spiritual teachings, that always believing that God is there with me. I can revert back to God. I can worship God. Worshipping God, emotionally, that's your spiritual need. That you have to worship Him. You have to believe in Him. This is the best way to keep your emotional health, and we have to think about it. And 4 important things are needed for emotional health. Number 1 is good relationship. Invest on relationship. There was a research by Harvard University about what makes people happy. After a lot of research, they came to a final conclusion that happiness is a meaningful relationship. Make your relationship more meaningful. Your relationship with your family, your relationship with your larger family, your relationship with your society, make it more meaningful. It makes you happy. So invest on relationships. Relationship between the spouses is also very important. And try to become a good friend of your spouse. It's applicable to both husband and wife. If the husband and wife are good friends, they can share so many things, they can take suggestions from them, then it is a very positive relationship. So that's why while selecting spouses also, you have to ensure that you have to select somebody who can be a good friend to yourself. who can understand your emotions, then you will be very successful. So investing in relationship is one of the most important thing in developing emotional health. And second thing is consultation. Learn, because emotional health, like doctor, we need consultation for emotional health also. And we have counselors. We have nowadays psychology is becoming an important subject. There are a lot of counselors, and sometimes people want to consult an anonymous counselors, and such counselors are also available nowadays in our society. Online counselors, they are anonymous. You don't know them, and they don't know you, but you just tell them all your problems, and they come out with solutions. Such counselors are also available. So sometimes consult people, consult a good friend, consult who know more, and this also may be necessary in some cases. And third thing is develop your positive emotions, like by reading, by listening to good things, by watching good things. Watching bad things in our society, what I am now seeing our Indian media especially, they create more sensations, and every media is focusing on their TRP, on their publicity. So sometimes they are spoiling emotional health of the society, sometimes harmonious understanding of the society. In coronavirus also, if you see in the initial days in India, when the coronavirus came, many media highlighted that one Muslim group, Tablighi Jamaats, has created and spread the coronavirus to entire country. And today, if you see in the same background, you can see that how funny it was. Corona is not a communal virus. It will not see religion to attack you. Today, you can see that whoever gathered, whether it is in temple or in whichever temple it is, or whether it is in church or mosque or wherever, when people gather without social distancing and without taking care of themselves, it will not see which religion you belong to. It affected everybody in India. So that's why it is necessary that you have to, read positive things, and you have to see. You need not have to watch too much of news and too much of WhatsApp and too much of WhatsApp news and WhatsApp forwarding. There are a lot of fake messages. There are a lot of sensations which is creating. It will spoil your emotional health. See positive things, meet positive people, read books, and read. Even in spirituality, you can see good literature. Read Quran, for example, or read any epics, any Vedas or Bible or anything which has a lot of positive things within you, instead of depending on WhatsApp, depending on TRP focused media. You have to listen to positive things. That is also important. And fourth one is spirituality, also very important to develop emotional health. And one of the things in relationship is you have to develop empathy. What is empathy means? Understanding others. Try and think about yourself. Are you an empathetic person? Empathy means somebody, you should understand somebody. When someone comes near you and tells something, you should understand what's his feelings. And every mother is considered as most empathetic person on the world is mother. That's why you can see children at any age, normally, maybe there may be exceptions, but normally you can see that children at any age, they prefer to go to their mother, because mother is more empathetic, she can understand. For example, a 10-year-old boy, a girl, he will go and tell, "Mother, I love you." And mother will ask, "What you want to eat?" Because love you means she understands that he want to eat something. And what do you want to eat? And at the age of 16, a boy or girl will go and say, "Mother, I love you." Then she will ask, "How much pocket money you need?" Because she know why he's saying it's "I love you." At the age of 21, if he says, "I love you," mother will ask, "Who is that boy? Or who is that girl?" She knows why he says, "I love you." And at the age of 40 years, if he says, "Mother, I love you," she says, "The spouse you selected is your selection, not my selection. If you have some problems, live with her, live with him." And at the age of 55, he comes back and says, "Mom, I love you." She says, "I'm not going to sign any papers which you give." So she understands. So empathy is very important, and mother is the person most empathetic. And if you are an empathetic person, you are boosting somebody's emotions. And try to find persons who is more empathetic and be with the people who are more empathetic to you. And try to be an empathetic person yourself, which is very important in relationships. And you can see that there are natural and temporary unhappiness and sickness. A lot of them are there for everybody and in every society. For example, passing away of nearest, failing in something, and some unplanned event happened, accident happens, and some injury happens, viral flu allergy, or some kind of ailments. This kind of, if this is not happening, he is not a human being. And sometimes this is temporary. Fever will be there for 2-3 days. This is temporary. Okay. And also there are permanent kinds of things are also there. Permanent pains and sickness. For example, somebody is suffering from cancer and it is permanent. And sometimes you may lose your organ in accident, for example, hand or eye or leg. It's a permanent. Or, something permanent injury may happen, permanent ailment or sickness may happen. So this is also happens sometimes in life. So what? That's the end of life? No, still you can live. Still you can, what you can do at such kind of circumstances, one is try to get rid of it. Sometimes you can get rid of it. Even cancer, some of the cancer you can get rid of it. Like breast cancer, you can get rid of it. Some of the cancer, it is curable at any stage. Okay, and there are advanced treatments for cancer as well. There are people who lived a normal life after getting cancer. So get rid of it. Or try to learn how to reduce it. For example, you have unbearable pain. You can take painkillers, or you can see how you can manage it. Or also, you should learn how to live with it. Make it a normal. Like Corona, make it a normal. Live with Corona, then your life will be normal. Wear mask, go anywhere where you want to go. And, come back and wash your hands. And make sure that you are clean. Maintain your hygiene. So you can live with Corona and do everything instead of, worrying about Corona. Do everything. That's what we have to do until we get our vaccine or a medicine for Corona. We have to do that. This is, lately people learned that. And this is not only with Corona. There are so many other things in our life. Try to live with it or try to enjoy it sometimes. And it's also possible, I can give examples how to enjoy your pain and ailments and how to convert it into opportunity that is bigger than that. Any difficulties you are facing, you can convert it into opportunity. You will find such an example. I'm quoting the example of 4 people, for example. One is Mark Zuckerberg, this person. He has color blindness and he can see only blue color. And he is the man who created Facebook and it's blue color. He created an opportunity from his problem and he's very successful. You can see very rich man. I would have quoted so many personalities. Prophet Muhammad, for example, among the religious personality, he was born as an orphan and a lot of difficulties he faced. But in the book written by, the book titled as 100 Ranking of the Most Influential People, written by Michael H. Hart, he has given number 1 rank to Prophet Muhammad. So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, created an opportunity in all the difficulties he was facing. This is the remote examples. I thought, let me quote from examples from all cultures, and everybody knows these personalities. So first one is Mark Zuckerberg. His problem, he was facing a problem of color blindness, but he converted it into opportunity and he was successful. Another man is this man, amazing man, Nick Ujusik. And you can see that he has no hands and he has no legs. But he is one of the famous motivational speaker in the world called Nick Ujusik. And he had a love marriage. 4 children he has. He knows how to swim. He plays football. And he is one of the most solicited motivational speaker in the world. He visited Kuwait also. When he visited, somebody has to lift him and to keep him in table. After that, when he speaks, he's a different person. And a lot of girls with tears hugged him for his motivation and his motivational talk. See, People are more impressed because of his status. He has no legs and no hands. That's why he is more solicited. But in spite of that, he is a motivational speaker. He is a manager. He travels around the globe. So if you see, we are all better off than him. We have two intact hands and two legs intact. But this man is more richer than many of us, more influential than many of us, more successful than many of us. So, this is how he converted his weaknesses and his challenges into opportunities. And this man, again, Franklin Roosevelt, he was 4 times American president. He was paralyzed below the waist and he contested election. And he worked as American president for 4 terms and he was very successful in every aspect. Though he was paralyzed, he could not walk. And now he is sitting in a wheelchair. That's not, just for occasionally. He was permanently sitting in the wheelchair and moving around through wheelchair throughout his presidency. So he created an opportunity within his challenges. And this man, Colonel Sanders, until 65, he was a failure. At 65, he thought of committing suicide. But finally, while going for suicide, suddenly idea flashed, I'm good in cooking, why should not I try cooking? So he cooked fried chicken in his town, Kentucky, and that was a success. Led him towards success. Everybody liked his, chicken fry. Then he started a small outlet called Kentucky Chicken Fry. Then it became a franchise. Then he signed a contract to popularize his Kentucky Fried Chicken around the world. And he became the brand ambassador. And he was very successful person. So you can see that there will be problems in all ages. Colonel Sanders was successful in 65. So if you are not 65, many of us may not be, there is a long time to become 65. So even if you are not successful until today, don't be disheartened. There is time for you. So these are the good examples that you can create opportunities for you under any circumstances. Also, I would like to quote some of the examples of millionaires who committed suicide, also very known personalities. And we consider them as a very successful person, but we can see that these persons, maybe my time is running out. Let me go fast. 3 personalities. One is Siddhartha of Coffee Day. He was richest person, multi-millionaire. Another is Joy Arakal. He has the biggest house in Kerala and a very successful business in Dubai. Another, the recent one, Sushant Singh Rajput, 34-year young man, and he was a heartthrob for many. But they all committed suicide. Maybe it's because of depression, purely mental reason, but there are so many reasons, emotional, so many people are doing wrong things because of emotional health as well. So, just having money or just having fame, just having, popularity will not help you. So what you have help you is so many other things. Among them, the things which I mentioned, meaningful relationship, your spirituality, and so many other things are also very important for us. So let me, since my time is running up, so let me go to the final quotation. Some of the techniques, or I can go to the quotation by Prophet Muhammad. I'm leaving one slide. Prophet Muhammad gave us a very good suggestion. He said, look at those below you in worldly life in order to be grateful. In worldly life, there will be poor people everywhere and worldly sustenance. Look at the poor people. I had a chance to go to Miami in America, which is considered as a capital of celebrities. Many celebrities live there. But also I saw many homeless people in the streets. So there will be poor people everywhere. So look at those who are below you in worldly affairs, and look at those who are above you in goodness and piety. And whenever you want to do something, you see that there are a lot of competition. But in this one field, to become a good person, there is no competition. You can try to become a good person. And let me remind you about 3 important things in our life: mind, body, and spirit. And if you equally give importance to all 3 things, you will be successful. Finally, I would like to end with a quotation by Prophet Muhammad, and he highlighted the belief in God, and he said, "Ajaban li amril mu'min." If a man is a believer, his affair is really amazing. Inna amruhu kullahu lahu khair. There will be good if he is a believer. He will find goodness in everything in his life. And laisa zalika li ahadin illa lil mu'min. This may not happen to anybody other than a believer. If he believes in God, then only he can find goodness in everything. Other than that, nobody can find this. In asabathu sarra'u shakara fakanat khairallah. And if he finds his life better, lot of good things happening in his life, he will remain thankful, and it is good for you. And there is a lot of challenges. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءُ صَبَرَ فَكَانَتْ خَيْرًا لَهُ. Sometimes there will be a lot of challenges, lot of difficulties. He will not be upset. He will be patient. He will try to change those situations. He will not react, but he will respond, and he will remain patient. Then this is also good for him. So both things, bad or good in life, he will be tolerant. He will make it a good thing for him. This is possible when you have a strong belief in God. This is also important for emotional health. Thank you very much, and I'm open for questions. And sorry for taking a little more time.